policies or legislation that needs to be put in place to further help the fight against tobacco farming?
Indeed, Kenya has made a lot of strides and efforts, but we still have a very big margin to increase tax. WHO recommendation is that for tax to be effective, it has to be 75%, at least 70% of the retail sale price, so that if you're selling at a price, 70% of it should be taxed, so the price will go high. You can imagine a packet of cigarette in Kenya is about 300 shillings. That's like about $3, less than $3. But in Europe, for example, a packet is at least 8 euros, which is over 1,000 shillings. So we still have a long way to go to make it unaffordable to young people particularly, and also the poor people who are the most vulnerable, and they are the ones who are targeted the most. The youth and poor people consume tobacco the most. So we still have a room to improve the tax and also improve the tax administration so that it is easy to administer, and it can, besides reducing tobacco consumption, it can reap more revenues for the government, which can be used to improve health and social well-being of the citizens. In addition, we need to increase the graphic health warnings, the size of the graphic health warnings, and including standardized packaging, which is a plain package without any advertising or promotional material in the packet, so that you make them standard, because the industry uses color, it uses different decorations or different markings in the product to see if one is safer than another or one is more cool than another. So if you make all the products standard, then the general public is not able to distinguish them and is not able to tell. And also to improve on regulation on product content, content disclosure, so that we know what is the content of these tobacco products, and also eliminate some of the contents or constituents that promote consumption, like flavors. Tobacco in itself is very harsh and very nasty, that the tobacco industry have to add flavors to make it palatable. And so it masks the harshness, it masks the stinky smell and taste of tobacco products. So by eliminating flavors, then you deter people from consuming, and you also motivate people who are using to quit using them.
Yeah.
Further is to strengthen the enforcement of the law across the country. And this is very important because we have relatively good laws. And good laws without enforcement is not helpful. So we plan, the ministry is going to work with the county governments through the Council of Governors to strengthen enforcement in the counties, so that the legislation can come into place to facilitate tobacco-free environments, tobacco-free societies, and also ensure that the business people and the public comply with the law.
Yeah.
So we need to do that and strengthen more the enforcement and the compliance.
All right. Dr. Adriana, even as you push for zero tobacco farming, how do you deal with the industry demand? Because it's going to keep pushing some more farmers to take on more land and put them under tobacco, because we know globally there's 3.5 million hectares being put under tobacco every year. How do you deal with that industry demand? What more needs to be put in place?
Well, the important thing for handling the industry demand is decreasing the demand for tobacco from the population, no? And that is what we try to do when we are trying to implement the Framework Convention. Basically, also we need to remember that the population is maybe decreasing the percentage of smoker, but still the population as a whole is increasing. So now we are just in the moment where the total number of smokers begin to decrease slowly, because before the prevalent, the percentage was coming down, but not necessarily the absolute number. Still, this will take a time, and that is why the conventions has complementary measures. You are working in the demand side reduction measures in order to decrease the demand, and also you need to prepare the supply side to not be affected. That's why I was saying before that we need to prepare, because changing livelihood is not one thing that is going to happen overnight. So that we need to do it with time, because still there is a lot of fear sometimes in the farmers, okay, to go to a new crop, because the appealing thing that I have heard from farmers in many countries is that they know that their crop will be bought. Okay, but it will be bought, as Frederick said, with a very small margin for the people. So when they begin to see that there are other crops that can also be bought, and there are many mechanisms that you could put in place. For example, all the countries has a procurement mechanism where they buy food for hospital, for schools. So it's a way where you can create a system that one thing fits the other, let's say, and you can have a system that help not only the farmers to keep on working, but also the government in implementing the demand. It's something that is going to happen over time. Yeah. It's not going to happen from one day to the other. And it will be, I think that the decrease will be time to the reconversion of all the farmers.
Okay. Frederick, compare for me when you used to grow tobacco and now. How much did you used to make then? And how much are you making now? And how has the industry treated tobacco farmers in your view? Because you've dealt with them before.
Okay. When I start with how the industry is treating farmers,
yeah,
the treatment is too harsh.
Okay. What did they used to do?
Too harsh.
Yeah.
When it comes to the market, they are locked. You are not allowed to complain.
Okay.
The market is not free. And therefore, farmers go because there's no alternative. Because usually when you are producing, you want a market. So people go there because they have a market, but not because they like it. So when other crops come in, and then the sources of buying are there, I think that will make people change from tobacco to other crops. Like, for example, when the Nyota beans was brought in the year 2020, it came with a market from the Farmers Market Alliance. We grew tobacco, the Nyota beans, and we were given a market from the World Food Program where we sold.
Yeah.
I think that one promoted the interest of farmers. And nowadays, we are selling to schools as well as to the hospitals. And because these Nyota beans, from the trainings that we have got from the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry for Health, they have explained to farmers the contents of that beans. It has got a lot of iron as well as zinc. And therefore, it does not interfere with the stomachs after you have eaten. So the major thing is the market.
Yeah.
If the market is there, then switching from tobacco to these other crops becomes very easy.